Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Russell Jackman. FP Santangelo Jr. is traveling this week, so he won't be with us. Hopefully, Vern will join us in the next segment. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. And of course, because...
No, we're not. We are not asking a sports trivia question this week in honor of my birthday. And it's my birthday show. So I'm going to make it all about me.
Hold on.
What I want.
You know what, my friend? We're going to do both. We'll have trivia questions,
Yes.
and then we'll also have a little segment when we come back about famous number 55 jerseys in honor of Russell turning 55. You're just a child, my friend. You're just a kid.
Don't tell my right knee that.
I know. It's amazing how nobody told me getting older was going to encompass all this stuff. I didn't sign up for this, you know. I tell people,
exactly. But the alternative is worse.
That's true. So don't get older. It's not worth it. All right. Let's see here. So when we come back, we're going to have some fun with famous number 55 jerseys. And funny because I got one that I don't think you're going to recognize the name, but that's okay. They're not a problem. In fact, they go across a couple of sports. So that's actually I only have. Well, no, I have baseball, football, and basketball number 55s. So that'll be kind of
very
fun.
Cool.
All right.
Very cool.
Let's see here, and then we got some other good stuff to talk about when we come back. So this segment of Sports Econ 101, sponsored by Pacific Private Money, still providing mortgage investments. In fact, they just raised their Freedom Fund from 6% up to 7% because interest rates are going up. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Vern just joined us. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Russell Jackman and Vern Glenn. All right, so in honor of our friend Mr. Jackman turning 55.
All right, double nickel.
Yeah, double, that's it. Okay, we were all supposed to come up with some famous number 55 jerseys. And Russell, you said you wanted to go first.
Yes, well, I wanted to go with, in my opinion, the king of the 55s, and someone that is my favorite 55 of all time, and that is, without a doubt, Mr. Timothy Lincecum.
Okay, great. Yeah, that works.
Wait, I thought Oral Hershiser would have been your favorite.
Oh God.
No, Tim.
Because we know you're such a Tim. We know you're such a fan of the Dodgers.
Well, Tim Lincecum is one of my all-time favorite, athletes in any sport, anytime, anywhere, you name it. And the fact that he's number 55, which also has been my lucky number, my favorite number too. So I'm thrilled that I share the same age number as his jersey, and I will for another 365 days.
Okay,
and
so now
the other.
Wait, hold on. Why is 55 your lucky number? That's kind of an odd.
I like the number 5.
Okay.
And what's better than the number 5? But 2 5.
Another one. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, who's next? Who's your next 55?
The other one, I've been a long time Warrior fan. So this guy I love to watch play in the early 80s, and he had a lot of guts, even though he played on some of the worst teams in NBA history, and that's good old Rod Higgins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
And I was always a big fan. I thought he played with a lot of courage and a lot of guts. He would have fit in well with the modern teams that we have today. I think he would have been a good bench player if Kerr had gotten a hold of him. He is, one guy. And then I'd like to make my most obscure number 55, which is also a Warrior. And he's the exact opposite of Rod Higgins, and that's Mike Schmreck.
Wow, boy, you're digging deep.
What?
Yes,
Mike who?
Mike Schmreck.
Mike Schmreck.
Yeah,
he was one of the absolute losers when the Warriors were 19 win team or a 22
How long
win
ago was
team.
that?
It's in the 90s, right?
The 90s?
Oh, it was the 80s.
Either the very late 80s or it might have been 89 or
That's definitely obscure. I don't
when
remember.
the Warriors were really,
Okay.
yeah, it was after Run TMC, and the Warriors went through some really hard times, and that's why I'm such a huge fan of the Warriors today, because I remember guys like Mike Smrek, you know, watch guys like Andrew DeClerc, and I watch guys like Todd Fuller, and I watch guys like Vonteego Cummings and Keith Jennings, and the list goes on and on. Ronnie Cycli, and Mookie Blaylock, and Antoine Jameson, and Joe Smith, and
Hey, don't forget Sleepy Floyd.
Well, Sleepy Floyd was a great player, and he had that one amazing quarter that will go down, in NBA history, but in NBA playoff history. But overall, the Warriors had their share of terrible years, 14 terrible years, then 1 year in the playoffs, and another 7 years not in the playoffs. And people forget that now that they see the Warriors with their 4 championships, and they go, oh, well, they bought their way into a title. There were a lot of sweat and a lot of tears that went into being a Warriors fan before this 4 championships.
And I still have my We Believe t-shirt.
Oh, from 2007.
Yeah.
I hope you watched it.
Boom! Over AK-47.
I hope you watched it since then.
Okay. Yes, I have. Okay. You ready? I've got a few 55s here myself. Going over across all the sports. Okay. I did have Tim Lincecum, Junior Seau.
Yeah, he was on my list.
He was on your list. Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, also on my list.
Wagging.
No.
No. That commercial cracks me up every time I see it.
Yeah.
Where he's in the store, he's whacking stuff. Right. Oral Hershiser I had in there. Terrell Suggs.
Yep, linebacker.
Yeah. Now the next guy I didn't really care for, but Jorge Posada got him in there.
Former Yankee.
Hideki Matsui.
Yep.
Can't forget him. And now going back in time to the 60s, Frank Howard. Do you remember Big Frank Howard?
Frank Howard, yeah. First baseman.
Yeah, boy, that guy was, I think he was about 6'9" or something. Man, when he hit home runs, they left the yard, as they say.
Yeah, there were no cheapies.
No.
We got one.
All right, Vern, who else do you have on your 55 list?
Well, I've got Jason Williams, and Jason Williams, AKA he was White Chocolate.
White Chocolate.
He was a teammate of Randy Moss in high school in West Virginia.
Oh.
And together, they just terrorized the court. But Jason Williams, he had handles, so to speak, as the kids say on the schoolyard. Could do like amazing tricks with the basketball, and did spend some time in the NBA. So Jason Williams is pretty much my pick. I think between the two of you, you got all the other 55s covered.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting number.
Yeah.
You don't get too many 55s out there, especially like baseball. It's funny. I still remember Tim Lincecum in the first World Series that they were in 2010, where just the stage of it being, the World Series. And if you remember, the ball gets hit back to him and he just runs the player back to third base, but he never throws the ball. And the player ends up being safe, I look at that, it's such a cute, it was almost like a little league play, but but boy, they just turned around in 2 seconds,
I'd like to peel back the onion just a little bit for Mr. Jackman and getting back to Tim Lincecum. What was it about him that first kind of struck you and struck a nerve?
Thank you for asking.
I really like this guy.
Yeah, thanks for asking. What I was always impressed with, is how he put his entire body into every pitch that he threw.
Yeah, I still remember.
It was from his little toe to the tip of his nose and his earlobes. Every part of his body was involved in every pitch he threw. And he was a candle that burned so brightly that I knew he was going to burn himself out, that there was just no way that he would have a 20-year major league career. That his body was inevitably going to wear itself out. But wow, he made the most of what he had with what he was given. And
so you can't see this, Russell, because you're on the phone. But when we had Bill Schlau on, he gave me a few years ago. This is 2013 for the 2012 World Champions, and I've got a little bobblehead box with Tim Lincecum in it, and yeah, he just a picture of this. He's throwing everything into it. Okay, hey guys, ready for our first commercial trivia question here? Baseball is our theme. Excuse me. Who thought that anyone could equal Reggie Jackson's career total of 2,597 strikeouts? This player came so close, but was just 49 short of eclipsing Jackson's career record when he retired in 2012. Who was, this former 13-season Cleveland Indian who moved, into the number 2 spot for strikeouts when he retired? All right. So that's our trivia question. Basically, Reggie Jackson had a career total of 2,597 strikeouts. Who was basically number 2 on that list, played for Cleveland. All right. That's our trivia.
Career in Cleveland?
Say again?
His entire career in Cleveland?
I'm trying to remember if he ever got traded. But he may have. I think he did actually, but most of the time you'll be thinking about Cleveland when you think of this player. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. FP Santangelo Jr. is off today. Okay, who thought that anyone could equal Reggie Jackson's career total of 2,597 strikeouts? Well, this player came so close, but was just 49 short of eclipsing Jackson's career record when he retired in 2012. Probably he didn't want to play one more year because he was going to break that record. Who was this?
You make it sound like he wanted to get that right.
I know, exactly. So who was this?
So close.
Who was this former 13-season Cleveland Indian who moved into the number 2 spot for strikeouts when he retired? And I believe he did get traded. And if I remember correctly, I think he got traded to the White Sox, but I could be wrong on that. But he's mostly known for being a Cleveland Indian. And he retired in 2012. Hit a lot of home runs too.
Roberto Alomar?
No, Jim Thome.
Jim Thome, God, he played with a bunch of teams.
Yeah. But I mean, you mostly remember him from Cleveland, but didn't he play for the White Sox also?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure,
What other teams? What other teams did he play for?
Did he fight for the Yankees at all?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like at the end he kind of bounced around, but
maybe he didn't play for the Dodgers. I don't think, did he?
No. Okay. No. I think he was.
Stayed in the American League.
I think it was American League all the way.
All the way. Okay. Yeah. Well, definitely, you get to be a certain age and a certain home run hitting, you fit right into that DH.
And he did it quietly. He didn't. I don't remember running any sound bites from him, other than
Yeah.
Toward the end when he retired. Yeah, but just kind of a
his job.
Just kind of a quiet insurance salesman, like kind of demeanor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, so moving on. And Russell, I know you're going to love this. Your favorite, President Trump, is telling PGA players to sign with the LIV Tour, and he's hosting LIV tournaments. And apparently, I guess some survivors, 9/11 survivor families, are telling Trump, "Hey, you know what? Could you cancel that tournament for Saudi Arabia, since I guess Bin Laden was from Saudi Arabia?"
Always a class act. Always a class act.
Always a class act. I thought that was kind of, he's basically telling them, hey, listen, the PGA is not loyal. You guys don't need to be loyal either. Effectively, I'm rephrasing.
I'm afraid to see that the PGA, I think, is beginning to lose this battle to the LIV Tour. And first of all, I don't give a darn about golf. So I want to go on the record as saying that I never have cared about golf, even when we've talked about it on the show. It's just not something that means anything to me. But I don't want to see the LIV Tour succeed and beat out and knock out the PGA Tour. I think there's a lot of bad things that will happen to sports overall if the
You know
Live
what,
Tour
they
is
that
successful.
if anything, they would merge together. I think that would be a disaster if the PGA just went away and all you had was just the Live Tour.
I don't think a merger would be good either.
But I
get
can't.
in
I just
bed with
can't
the
see PGA.
Saudis?
I mean, the PGA. I just get this bad feeling if the PGA just went away. That I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, but
Right?
I could see. I mean, these golfers are gutless and are only going where the money is. They don't care about tradition.
I mean, this is their profession, so you know, it's
I
kind of
guess,
hard
but
to.
there's something about the integrity of a league and the history that something has behind it versus just letting a bunch of oil
You gotta be kind of
billionaires.
careful. I mean, we as fans, it's like we hate to see our favorite players go to another team, or in this case, golfers going to another country's tour. But remember, for most of these guys, I mean, this is their only income. This is their profession. I mean,
It's
they
just
work
another
really hard.
country, but it's not just another country. It's Saudi Arabia. So
Yeah, but
I'm not just
but
glossing
don't we
over
as
that.
the United States, don't we depend on Saudi Arabia for a lot of things?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, and
And
I
it
mean,
makes me sick.
well, except for the Khashoggi. I mean, the Khashoggi thing was really nasty. But I mean, even the current president went over to try to beg for oil, and we
I
had
know it's pathetic.
yeah, we actually
I hate it.
It's funny. I mean, these countries, it's like one day you love Iraq, the next day you hate Iraq. I mean, look at England and France over the last 1,500 years. I mean, sometimes it's only been in the last few hundred years that they've actually like gotten along, but they're always fighting. So one day it's an enemy, and next day it's your friend. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to just.
Saudi Arabia wouldn't be our friends if it wasn't for the oil and the money that they get. I mean, there's nothing about them.
I mean, but here's the thing too: is that regimes change, right? I mean, again, if you look at history, going back a few thousand years, sometimes you'll have a king that's really good and treats the people well and is friendly with other nations, and then other times, his son gets in and totally turns the tables, and it's an evil king. So who knows? Maybe what was the? I thought it was Saudi Arabia, but it could have been another Middle Eastern country where the king just loves basketball. Which
there's a lot of those guys. I'm talking about the guys that will fly Joe Montana around the country just to teach his son how to throw a football. I mean, there's a lot of those guys. I'm not kidding.
Oh no, I believe it. I think it's pretty fun. But there was like one of the big boys, he's obsessed with basketball, American basketball. And I guess he doesn't own a team, but maybe just wants to own a team.
Can I just throw this one thing out,
please?
And on the PGA Tour, not everybody's a superstar on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
You only have a finite amount of time to play that game at that level. If you are a guy or woman on the LPGA, but if you are a guy that is, I mean, on the borderline of keeping your tour card, I mean, you are low on the money list, but you're good enough where, hey, if I join the Live Tour, I can get some generation wealth here if I was lucky enough to actually contend to maybe make a top 5 in a Live Tour event.
Yeah.
I think it's just something to think about on the list of priorities for your family. I'm just throwing that out.
No, that's a very good.
All we're doing, we're just paying attention to the name guys, the household guys. Oh, how could they possibly join the Live Tour? Exactly. And then Cameron Smith just won the British Open, and now there's a rumor that he might join the Live Tour, but he's number 2 in the world. What if you're number 132 in the world? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It's too hard to make a blanket statement. It's the same thing with even in the private sector. right? I mean, you join a company and then suddenly, they're changing philosophies of one thing versus another.
Yeah.
Either they either go woke or go the opposite way. And it's like, what are you supposed to keep jumping? Well, I don't like the fact that they donated to X charity, so I'm going to stop working for them.
And Edward, it works both ways. Companies aren't necessarily loyal to their employees either.
Oh, absolutely.
So the days of putting your 20 some odd years in and getting your gold watch, they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah.
Because companies get bought, policies can change,
Yes,
and all of a sudden,
absolutely.
hey, if you got too much gray hair on your head, kind of dodging the HR hurdle, you're out of there for a much younger, high performance machine.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. I mean, when like my dad, in my dad's generation, you worked for a company for 20 years, such and such. In fact, even when I graduated college, I was fortunate to get a job as an accountant because it was right during the height of the recession in '81. And no one really thought. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be there forever, but being self-employed was the risky thing back then. Now it's almost the safest thing to do because you're in total control of your own destiny.
Yeah, it used to be when we were growing. It used to be we were always told. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You work hard, you're going to be rewarded.
Yeah.
You work hard, you follow the rules, you stay inside the lines, you're going to be rewarded.
Yeah.
Well, for my kids, maybe your kids, maybe Russ's kids down the line, that might necessarily be the case anymore.
No.
It might not be good enough anymore.
Yeah. You're making good points there, Russell. You're a little quiet during this time.
Well, I agree with a lot of this, but I also worry about, the involvement of Saudi Arabia in our sports, lexicon. It could be, what's next? I mean, North Korea, you want, Kim Jong-un to own a team. And there's a lot of, Vladimir Putin to buy, the Angels or something like that. I mean, there's certain level at which, there's bad owners, and then there's, people.
Well, this is different. Remember that. Well, Saudi Arabia is not buying, a team, an American team. They're just saying, hey, listen, we've got this golf tournament situation that we want to do. This whole professional league. If you want to join it, you can. No one's being forced to do it. Hey guys, we're going to cut to our second commercial break here. Baseball is what we're talking. Okay, this one goes back in time. Yankee great Joe DiMaggio had a tremendous season in 1941 with his historic 56-game hitting streak. Whose American League record did he break?
Oh,
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I had to throw one old one in there for you. All right, stay with us for Econ 101. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown, Vern Glenn, and Russell Jackman here. I'm sorry, guys. The audience doesn't know this, but when we cut to break, I'm sorry. I just have to laugh because the guys are saying, "Where are you coming up with these guys? These old questions here." If Hannes Wagner was here, he'd probably be able to answer this question.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the question.
I just question the age demographic of those watching and listening to this show. How in the world are they gonna? Geez.
That's a very good question. Age 2 to 92. Okay.
Yeah.
Yankee great Joe DiMaggio had a tremendous season in 1941 with his historic 56-game hitting streak. Whose American League record, not National League, but whose American League record did he break?
Well, you said Hannes Wagner, so I'm already out.
Honest, I don't think was a speedster. Okay, I'm just going to give it to you. George Sisler. Now, you know the name.
I mean, I've heard the name.
I don't know the name. I know the name.
I know the name, Edward, but Lord.
I remember the Sizzler steakhouses. The Sizzler steakhouses.
Come on. Did you know that George Sisler had a 55-game hitting streak? Yeah, there's your 50.
You didn't either until you read it.
Or actually, no. Actually, I don't think he had 55 game hitting streak. I have to go back. I think it was like 40, 41 or something like that. But anyway. I'm
I
sorry,
remember
guys.
the Malibu chicken. I remember the Malibu chicken over at the Sizzler Steakhouse.
It's
That's
George
more my frame of
Sisler, not
reference.
Sizzler.
That's I've heard of
Sis with an S.
Sizzler.
With an S, yes. In fact, didn't he end up coaching somewhere? Well, you guys wouldn't know. Okay. So a little tidbit here. So New York's mobile sports betting laws have forced gambling operators to cautiously watch spending on marketing and promotional offers to combat ongoing financial losses. New York got off to a hot start with an official handle that totaled more than 1.62 billion in January, topping the single month record for any state despite only 6 mobile operators. A few of those operators, including DraftKings and FanDuel, we've heard of those obviously, have requested New York legislators to change the laws regarding current sports betting tax rates. Each operator is required to pay a 51% tax rate to the state for 10 years. And the average sports betting tax rate in the US is 19%, according to Morgan Stanley. So New York's current tax rate for mobile sport books has led to huge profits thanks to more than 20 million residents in the state, making it the largest online sports betting market in the US.
So who's the one crying foul here? I mean, if
DraftKings and the the gambling sites are upset they're not making enough money, which is rather preposterous.
Well, a 51% tax, that's pretty nice.
Fine. I wouldn't mind if it was 99%.
Well, personally, I don't think they should have. I mean, I think gambling in general is not good for the country.
I'm with you too.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Any time that you get gambling, you start getting the mob, you get drugs, you get
sports gambling in particular. Sports gambling in particular. I mean, there's always going to be dice and slots and cards and the roulette wheel and horse racing and dog racing and so forth.
Yeah, but here's where you start getting into, when there's enough money involved, now you start getting shaving of points and all that kind of stuff. And then you get
that's why I don't want it in sports, but it's pretty much a mainstay.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. So go ahead.
But I mean, doesn't the NFL kind of drive the sports betting machine when it's in season?
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I think it's still the biggest. Sure. They say here the tax rate as a percentage of revenue could be more than 77%, including federal tax. Holy smokes. Okay, so moving on here. Cryptocurrencies have crashed in value since late last year, and the fallout is impacting sports sponsorships. The 2 high-profile deals between teams and crypto exchanges have reportedly fallen apart due to the value drop. So in the past few weeks, FTX suspended talks with the Los Angeles Angels on a jersey patch deal, and a patch deal between a crypto company and the Washington Wizards was also scuttled. With crypto companies spending heavily on lobbying, the Wizards, who play in the nation's capital, are considered especially valuable real estate. And then
does this not remind you of the .com era?
Yeah.
When does anyone remember WebX?
Yes.
Pets.com.
Wow. Yeah.
And WebVan. That was
WebVan. And how they were absolutely all over. Pac Bell Park. I remember when you first got into the very first season of Pac Bell Park. Was littered with .com company ads that have been gone for the last 20 years.
And it's funny because you think of Amazon could have gone that way, but for whatever reason they figured out how to do it right. Because if you think about it, how do you have products that are basically most of the time cheaper than you can buy anywhere else, and they include free shipping? I mean, you got to do lots of volume. I think didn't Prime
And treat your workers like absolute garbage. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. But what was it? Prime Day. Apparently, they did something like $12 billion in one day in sales.
Wow.
Can you believe that? $12 billion. That's just in one day.
Not for me. I didn't buy anything on Prime Day.
Yeah, I don't know if I bought anything that day, but
I mean, it's sort of like Prime Day is sort of like a self-made Christmas. You know, it's like Amazon decided, you know, hey, we're going to make our own Christmas buying season in the middle of the year because we don't make enough money at Christmas.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Okay, moving on. So Juan Soto, he rejects.
I'm glad you brought him up. I'm glad you brought him up. And hey, praise, all the praise to him for winning the home run derby on Monday night. 20 bombs. I mean, that was quite a performance for him. But how do you turn down
that was my point.
$440 million offered by the Washington Nationals? How do you do it?
And what was I don't remember the reason. It wasn't because
I never saw a reason. I never saw.
He's going to sign up. He's going to sign up for the Live Tour. He's going to sign up for the Saudis. Yeah, he's going to offer him.
I mean,
$500 million.
I get if you're making tons and tons of money. I don't know how much he's worth and how much he makes right now, but
he's 23 years old. He's 23.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he's just too young. I'm looking at this and going, unless you've got a lot of bank, or you just hate your teammates, or hate if you hate everything about your team.
Hate your teammates. They mobbed him when he won the home run derby.
No, I know. I'm not saying that he does hate. I'm just saying. I mean, I'd like to find out what.
All I can think of, and I hate speculating. I absolutely hate. But all I can think of is he must have information where Nationals, they're moving their chips into the center and giving him all the money and not really working on balancing the rest of the team. So if you're the best player on your team and you can't win, and then you're making all the money, he must have, I mean, that.
Wait a minute. No, you know what? I can
understand that.
No. Okay, here now. This is what I would do if I were feeling that as him. I would say, you know what? Give me $300 million and take the other 140 and buy me some other good players around me.
And we don't know as we speak. We don't even know if that's actually going on behind the scenes. We would never know. I mean, there could be some back and forth behind it, because all we're getting is what's being reported. That he just said, no, talk to the hand. I just can't fathom. Like I said, unless there's something about, like, if it maybe not his teammates, but the organization or just something. I mean, what's a guy going to do? Go, well, I'm worth $500 million. I mean, come on. Can you imagine what his agent? I assume he's represented, right? Sure.
He's probably going, I just lost. What do they get, 4% or something?
Yeah. that must be. Well, he's so good. I mean, he's going to get that money from somewhere else once the deal is done. If in fact it comes to the point where he is traded, so he will get that money. And again, he's only 23. He has a whole career in front of him. But but if you're 23, yes, the money's important. But yes, you also want to win. You want to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're making all that money and then you're weak in the outfield, or maybe the pitching staff is weak, something like that, and then there's no money to kind of build that and make a complete team, I can understand backing off a little bit.
But again, that's why I said, I mean, it would be I can't imagine the Washington Nationals going, oh, you only want $300 million? I mean, especially if you promise to pay the extra to other players. I mean, I can't imagine they would say no to that, because they want to win also.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I guess my question, if I was in this negotiation and he said no, I'd say, what do you want? I mean, we came out with what we thought was a pretty good offer. I mean, 15 years again, unless you don't want to be locked into a 15-year contract because you don't know what the future holds. I kind of get that. And so maybe, okay, well, we won't pay you $440. Well, how about a 5-year contract worth X? I mean, I'm just amazed. But so Julio Rodriguez, he came in second, right?
Yeah.
He doubled his salary effectively because he makes the minimum as a rookie, $700,000 a year, and he received $750,000 for second place.
Yeah, he's gonna be a star. And where is the All-Star game next year? It's in Seattle.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So,
I love that.
so
When you have
I'm sure he's already thinking about the home run derby next year in his home stadium.
Yeah, well, and just the idea of
And what about the fact that they're going to finish the All-Star game if it goes into extra innings via home run derby? Did you guys hear that news?
No,
I didn't hear that fine print. Explique.
Yeah, that was just announced. That was just announced today.
I mean, that's I don't know.
From a time from happening.
Unfortunately, the All-Star game is just not. It's just not the same. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't have that fire in it like it used to.
Well, at its core, it is an exhibition game. At its core, I mean, let's
Yeah, that's right. All right, you ready for our last hard baseball question?
Yeah.
No.
Give it to me.
Okay, in 1725. No, we don't go back that far. Okay, modern day baseball is officially known as seasons from 1920 onwards, right? Because what was it called before?
No, it's not.
Yes,
that is not modern baseball. Holy cow!
Yes,
1920.
Yes.
No, that's 100 years ago.
Yeah, but before that,
I refuse to call anything 100 years old.
What was it called before that?
Dead ball area?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Exactly, because the ball was, it was a dead ball, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called the modern day baseball. Okay. So now from 1920 onwards, which is after the takeover of Commissioner Judge Landis, which pitcher who threw his entire career in the modern day baseball was the first to win 350 games? Right. So you got to obviously, Cy Young was before that. So anyway, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown, Vern Glenn, and Russell Jackman here for the last time today. We'll be back next week. But our trivia question was, modern day baseball is officially known as seasons from 1920 onwards, which is after the takeover of Commissioner Judge Landis. Which pitcher who threw his entire career in modern day baseball was the first to win 350 career games? And again, so that's why you can't count Walter Johnson or Cy Young or any of those guys.
Or Grover, Cleveland, Alexander.
Yeah, I can't.
I'll just throw Sandy Koufax out there, even though it's not right.
No, you have to go back a little further, but not too long, really. I think it was mostly in the 30s and 40s.
Then I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he played for Cleveland. I think.
Well, it's not Bob Feller.
No, it's not Bob Feller. No, I could be wrong. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Warren Spahn. Did he play for Cleveland?
Well,
I'm sure that's the team that I think of when I think of him.
When I think of Warren Spahn, yeah. So the next week we'll definitely have questions from at least 1942 onward. Okay, just for you guys. All right, you guys ready for our thoughts today? Why is tennis such a loud sport? Because every player raises a racket.
That's a dad joke right there.
That's a dad one. Okay. And my wife said, you really have no sense of direction, do you? And I said, where'd that come from?
Oh, nice one.
That's a good one, huh? All right. Tune in next week.
I have a quick joke.
Yeah. Make it fast.
Okay. These two guys are out in the desert, and one of them says, they're starving to death, and they say, oh my gosh, there's a bacon tree over there. And he goes over to the bacon tree, and suddenly he gets shot because it wasn't a bacon tree, it was a ham bush.
Oh, nice.
Brother. All right, and with that, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
See you later.